but they're slaves to other people that are using them in society.
Sir, not everyone's a slave. Just because you work, for example, for a quid, doesn't mean you're a slave. People who work for a quid who are quite often content with their lives. And by the way, sir, you talk about ignorance. People centuries ago, 2, 3, 4 centuries, are far more ignorant than the most ignorant person living today. I'm not going to assume that therefore they were in dire straits. They didn't know that the earth was round, or they didn't know that Australia existed. They were completely and utterly ignorant, but that doesn't mean that their quality of their life deteriorate because of that.
Well, the measurement of gross national happiness goes back a long way. To Bhutan, the legal code of 1629 stated, if the government cannot create happiness for its people, then there is no purpose for the government to exist. Well, our government now is not interested in creating happiness for its people.
Our government is not Bhutan, sir. You're talking about Bhutan.
I'm talking about Bhutan.
Who just managed to qualify for the Asian World Cup.
5 centuries ago, they were talking about happiness.
Yeah.
And happiness was measured by how content the people in the national...
So how do you measure that? We can't even measure happiness today. How do you measure something like happiness? How do you measure love? How do you measure any emotion? Sir, we can't, that's right. But well done, madam.
So measure it by the well-being and contentment that it gives you personally.
How do you measure contentment? And besides, if you've got a dictator walking up and saying, are you content? You're going to say yes. And if you've got a beautiful, gorgeous woman that you're attracted to and she says, how content are you? You're not going to act like a grump. You're going to feel, oh, I'm pretty good. Everything's going well, thanks very much. Questionnaires are often answered depending on the attractiveness of the person asking the questions.
That's so true. Preach it.
Now, you did all right the first time. You're pushing it now. You're pushing it now. But stay with us. Yeah, it is very hard to measure something because it depends on the type of person.
Stop it, man. Don't waste your time. Can't you stop it? What are you talking about? This is part of life. People have to have a war and peace.
They have to.
And you can't stop it. You're talking rubbish. Listen, everybody has to die and live. You are born and you die after that. What are you worried about?
Seriously. Sorry, I'm very passionate because the thing is, I have stood at Gallipoli, which is a beautiful part of the world. Absolutely exotic looking. It is magical looking. When you stand on Gallipoli and you look out at the beautiful blue sea, and it's a beautiful place, and you know that our men went there and killed some innocent Turks as well, and you wonder why? Why is it that our leaders sit at home safe while your sons and fathers are out there fighting for a war to protect what? The innocent leaders? No. War is a load of shit, right? Have an argument, then go home to your own place and go and watch some TV. The thing is, I will never support war. Pro-peace all the way. And anyone who thinks they're protecting somewhere, it's the leaders that need to fight. So this man's point of the ancients, with the hero leader in the front, let him die. Let him die.
This lady's been saying what I've been saying for weeks.
Excellent, fantastic.
We need to have a different defence system based on not soldiers and so on, but on assassins. We need to be able to telegraph to everyone in the world, and if anyone attacks us, for example, if New Zealand were attacking us, we would have assassins during the Kaiser Soze's events. That is, the leaders are assassinated, their wives are assassinated, their children are assassinated, their cousins are assassinated.
And then leave the rest of us in peace.
And so that it would be such a deterrent to the leaders to make that decision in the first place that they would not commit their troops to war. It's called the Kaiser Soze defence.
I don't want to.
The trouble is, leaders have this feeling at the moment that not to attack each other because that's ungentlemanly. But that's because they've got the power to make that little pact between them. The only exception was someone tried to get Hitler But anyway, excuse me, madam. You seem to be able to say something. Would you like to have a talk for a minute? Oh, my voice is going.
Come on, Anna.
I'll just get you a proper...
Annette, your go. Yeah, 3.
Every year on the 25th of April, we all look at these guys that died as innocent people and we look at them as heroes. Now, maybe I'm shameful by saying I don't see them as heroes. I see them as innocent victims. People that were sent to the other side of the big planet, right? The other side of the world to fight a war that really had nothing to do with them.
Sorry, can I get something out of you?
Sure.
Okay, sorry. Keep going.
Now, when I was at Gallipoli, I looked out at the water and I saw how beautiful the place was. It's beautiful. Now, I don't know how much they tell you in Australian history. I'm 45. When I was at school, I was never told how many Turkish men were killed. 5 times the amount of Australian and New Zealanders were Turkish men that were killed. In their own homes, they were not actually a part of the big war, but 5,000 to 1,000 Turkish men died. When you go to that island of Gallipoli, and go sometime in your life, you have quite a few hours to go across the whole part and you look at all the plaques. There are plaques there from Australian men and women that have said things like, our son will never come home. Now, anyone who has a son here, I want you to think about if that was your son in another part of the world fighting for no reason that's real, right? I'm sorry, but the Turks weren't going to come and attack us. Now, what's your name? Mark made a really good point. If the leaders have a problem, if they want more oil, they want more money, they want more land, let them fight it out. Our sons and daughters should not go to another place and kill someone else's son and daughter. Who's a parent here? I'm a parent. I don't ever want my child to hold a gun and kill another person's son or daughter. Why are they doing it? Because the leaders at the top want more power, more ammunition, more guns, more oil, more something. Greedy pricks. Your sons are dying for greedy pricks. Let them fight their wars. Now, you go to Gallipoli and have a look at the plaques that say, my son will never return home. And you think about your child never returning home. And then next to it, another plaque will say, our son died for liberty. Really? An Australian went all the way to Turkey to free Australia, did they? Bullshit. And if you want to stay ignorant about that, you know what? Fantastic. Go home, drink more alcohol, numb the brain out. That's fine. But there's innocent men going and fighting wars for this, right? None of you understand. They're not heroes, they're victims. They're victims, and we are stupid for sending them over.
Stupid.
They are heroes in the sense that they love their families. They love their families. They want to protect their families. But the thing is, the more of them that don't do this, the more of the world that will stand up to these assholes at the top, the more freedom we will actually have. Now, you can all say, oh, hippie love, what a load of bullshit. I have arguments with people, but you know what? I tell them what I think and then I go home and I switch on my TV and I have a glass of wine. I don't have to worry about it. I'm not going to go and kill a person I have an argument with, right? I'm not going to go and take their car or their home off them. If I don't like someone, I go home and I hang out with my family. So why can't the leaders at the top just leave these other countries alone, right? And Mark made a good point. If there's someone like Hitler out there that really needs to be taken care of, take care of them, not the rest of their society. Because you know what? They're sitting safe while all the men and innocent women and women are dying. So as far as I'm concerned, on Anzac Day, rather than thinking hero, 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 feel the sadness of the families that lost those men. Thank you. And anyone who has a son or daughter here, remember that.
Very good. Brilliant.
Now, how do they get good people to do bad things? Very easily. Give them an enemy. and make them believe that that enemy will kill them if we don't kill them first. And how do they do that? They invent things like religion, politics, and such like. And that way they get thousands of people to pick up a gun and go millions of miles, thousands of miles to kill other people they don't even know. What for? Stupid, because they are ignorant themselves. The idea is to get educated and know why we exist, why we do what we're doing. And I wrote this book, Civilization Hijacked, to show just why we do